Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Alexander Ejapon, and in this video series we are going to look at one of the challenges from Front End Mentor. Now if you haven't done any of these challenges before, then please have a look at it. I think this is a great website. They've done an amazing job, and I think there's an awful lot of challenges that hopefully will help a lot of you. So please um, have a go at these challenges if you haven't done any of them yet. Right, so why did I pick this challenge? I think this is great for first Angular application. And of course, even if this is not your first one, there's an awful lot that you can learn from this. So just quickly going through what they've done, they give you enough here to get started. So if you look at the assets provided section here, it tells you exactly what you get once you download the folder, and we'll go through this in a bit. They also give you the designs, so this is essentially what you get. If you have a designer at work, they'll give you the designs, they'll give you some of the files, the colors, and again, essentially just the assets that you need to build the application. So, you know, they're doing the job of a designer, which I think is brilliant. If you then scroll down, it tells you exactly what the requirements are and what you need to do to get started. And even better, it gives you some ideas to test yourself, which I think is really useful. Right, so I have got this PowerPoint here and I'm going to go through this quickly. There's nothing fancy here, it's just give you some basic information. Right, so the project that we're going to build, I mean, you can call it whatever you want. I'll probably change the name, but essentially we're going to build an application that calls countries, and we can switch the theme, the color theme, from dark to light and vice versa. The audience, I would say, beginner Angular developer, but again, any developer can have a go at this because there's always something, you can always learn something from it. The objective will essentially be the same for most of these series, but essentially just getting comfortable with routing, reactive forms, making HTTP calls, dependency injection, error handling, and just the bread and butter of an Angular developer. So for this project, these are the requirements. The user should be able to see all countries from the API on homepage, search for countries in an input field, filter countries by region, click on a country to see more detailed information on a separate page, which is something we're going to look at. Click through to the border countries on a detailed page, and also to be able to toggle the color scheme between light and dark mode. Of course, this is optional, so you don't have to, but I think it's one of the great things about this challenge, so please have a go. Right, so we're not going to use a lot of packages, but I think this is quite useful. So we're going to use, of course, the REST countries API. I am going to cheat a little bit. Actually, that's not cheating. You can use UI framework. So we're going to use Bootstrap 5. We're not going to use everything because I find you actually end up having to override a lot of these classes. So we're going to use CSS Grid. We're going to use Flexbox, so we're going to write a lot of the CSS ourselves. Cards, for instance, we're going to write our own cards for the countries, the country details. And yeah, so we will use some of the Bootstrap classes, but we also create our own classes. The icons, you can use any icon library that you happy with. I'll probably use Bootstrap icons. I'm not sure yet, but most likely Ionicons. I don't know why, but yeah, this is a library that I quite like. So that's about it. There's not much in terms of the packages and libraries. Just pretty basic. Right, so we are now looking at the application. So this is what we're going to build. Essentially, I've added this. This is not a link, but I'll show you later. So this is the light mode. That's the default mode. You don't need to do anything, or if you don't do anything, this is what you get. You can search for, essentially we're showing all the countries, so that's the first requirement. We're showing all countries on the home page, and if you click through to the details page, you should then get the country details. And if you click on any of the border countries, then it will click through. It will essentially give you the details of the country that you clicked on, and it gives you the border countries of the country that you clicked on, if I'm actually making sense. And yeah, it should work for all of them if we've done it correctly, and you should be able to go back through to the home page if it loads. Yep. So yeah, I think that's quite nice. One thing I added though, because this was quite frustrating, so here you could end up going through quite a lot of countries, and when you then decide to go back to the home page, there's a lot of backlinks to get there. So I added this as a link, or I made this a link, so it takes you back to the home page. Of course, you can filter. So if we look at the European countries, you should only get European countries, and of course if you do that for African countries, then you should get African countries. So the filtering by region works, and also the search work. So if we look for United, we should get all the countries with United in them. This is an interesting one. I have to look at that again. I don't know why that one comes up. United. Why is Mexico there? Is there some United somewhere? Not sure why that comes up. But again, I didn't write the API, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. And so that's the search. So the search works, filtering works, and you can also change the mode, the theme, which I think is quite nice. Even though it says it's optional, I think it'd be good to actually do it. So once we change that, the colors change. One thing that I haven't done yet is the search box, and also the select. I haven't done those yet. We'll probably look at that as well. I don't think that's quite right. The design requires that, so we'll have to look at that. Right, so the user selection is also stored in local storage. So essentially the mode, the theme color. So here I've changed to dark. Once I refresh the page, that should still be the case because it's saved in local storage. Other than that, it will always go back to the light mode because that's set as the default one. So here, if you look at the application pane or tab, whatever you want to call it, we have the theme saved. So if I change this to light theme, it should, again, as you can see there, it's changed it. So the theme now is light theme. If I change it back, you should see it change to dark theme, which I think is quite nice. Right, the application is also responsive. So as you can see, the on mobile phones actually looks pretty good as well. The filtering and the search, they all should work pretty well. And yeah, so if you then look at the details, that again, that looks pretty good. So that is essentially what the project is, and hopefully we can do a good job of it. All right, I will see you in the next video.